Hey gang, today we're going to be looking at one and two-step equations once again, but today we're going to make them a little bit harder by first translating some sentences into an equation and then solving. So let's take a look at some things we need to know. In order to translate a verbal expression, you must be familiar with the vocabulary words that represent each operation. Words that represent each operation. So here are some common words that we're going to use for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. For addition, we have plus, more than, increase by, deposit, and sum. The only one there that I think you're probably not too familiar with is the word deposit. Deposit is when you put money into a bank. You're depositing it, you're putting it in, so you're adding it. For subtraction, we have minus, less than, decrease by, withdraw, and difference. Withdraw, again, one you may not be familiar with, and withdraw is when, again, you take money out of a bank. Since you're taking the money out of an account, you're decreasing the amount that's in it, so you're subtracting it. For multiplication, times, per, twice, double, triple, product, things you might not be too familiar with. For example, per, I say you work for $8 per hour. You would have to multiply 8 by the number of hours, so it's multiplication. Twice is when you're multiplying by 2. Double, again, multiplying by 2. Triple, again, multiplying by 2. So those also imply to multiply. And last, division, we could have out of, half, third, fourth, quotient, and into. So for example, if we say that it's a total out of 20, you're dividing the total by 20. If I say half, third, or fourth, for half, you're dividing by 2. For thirds, you're dividing by 3. For fourths, you're dividing by 4, and so on. And into, if you want to know how many times 5 goes into a number, you would divide that number by 5. All right, so let's take a look at some word problems here. So first we have a number increased by 8 is 23. So whenever we see the word number, we're going to replace that with a variable. That variable can be any letter. When we say we have the word number, I typically just replace it with n because number starts with n. You could use x or any other letter. So a number, so n, is increased, which implies addition, so plus 8, and the word is always equals 23. There's your equation. Super, super easy. So just like yesterday, we have an addition problem. Opposite of adding is to subtract. So we subtract 8 from both sides. We get n equals 15. Done. Let's take a look at the next one. Here, 25 is 10 less than a number. 25 is 10 less than a number. All right, so now it's twisted around a little bit. The number 25 is given, so we're going to write 25. We see the word is, there's our equal sign, and then it says 10 less than a number. This less than implies subtraction, but you wouldn't write 10 minus a number. You actually have to flip it around. So if I say I want to do 10 less than some number, say it's 10 less than 15, I wouldn't do 10 minus 15. That would give me negative 5. I would do 15 minus 10 to get positive 5. So we have to turn it around and do a number minus 10. Whenever you see that word then, flip it around. All right, so now I have 25 equals n minus 10. Opposite of subtraction is to add. Adding in 10 to both sides results in n equals 35 for our solution. All right, let's keep on going. Number 3, the quotient of 56 and a number is 7. The quotient means division of 56 and a number is 7. So whenever you read quotient, you put the numbers in order, first over second. So we have 56 divided by a number equals is the equals 7. All right, so if you recall from yesterday, we saw one like this. You have to remember what number you divide 56 by to get 7. Okay, so to show the math there, we do a couple different steps. Instead of dividing by n, I want to turn it into dividing by 7. So I'm going to multiply both sides by n, and I get 56 equals 7n. Then divide by 7, so n equals 8. Now, if you're not great with your math facts, your fluency of multiplication and division, it's really important that you practice that. You can go on to quizzes and Google math facts or multiplication facts and just keep playing it as much as you can. Or practice just writing it out in order. So if you don't know your sevens, you can do 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and just keep adding 7 and get in the habit of practicing those, because the better you know your multiplication facts, the easier math is going to be as you get to higher levels. All right, let's take a look at number 4. So similar, we have $15 per hour for a total of $60. So if you remember before, I talked about the word per. That word per means that you're multiplying. We want to multiply 15 by the number of hours this person's going to work, and we know that they're making $60. So it's $15 per hour. So instead of using an N, I'm going to put an H for hours, is $60. Opposite of multiplying here, 15 times H is multiplying. We're going to divide. And we wind up with H equals 4. I know that because 15 times 2 is 30, so 15 times 4 would be 60. Okay, so hopefully you're picking these up. You don't find them too challenging. You're going to do 5 and 6 on your own. You can pause the video now and try them now, or come back to them later. Next one. Now we're going to look at some more challenging ones because they're two-step problems. The product of a number and negative 3 decreased by 12 is 18. So this one's pretty straightforward. The word product means to multiply. Decrease by means to subtract. Is our equal sign. So the product of a number and negative 3 will be written as negative 3n, not n times negative 3. Get out of that habit of doing that. You want it to be simplified, nice and concise. All right. So decreased by 12, so minus 12, is equals 18. So remember, we want to use our order of operations backwards here, PEMDAS, but we're focusing on the multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So first we see if there's any number being added or subtracted, a constant number being added, subtracted. In this case, it's negative 12. So we're going to add 12 to both sides. Gives me negative 3n equals 30. Now we want to multiply or divide, and I see that there's a coefficient. This number right here is called the coefficient because it's attached to a variable of negative 3. That negative 3 is being multiplied by n, so I'm going to divide by negative 3, and n results in negative 10. All right, on to the next problem. Number 9. 1/9 of a number increased by 5 is 8. Another one that's pretty straightforward. 1/9 is 1 over 9 of a number, so times n, that word of means multiply. Increase by means to add. 5 is the equal sign, equals 8. All right, so another straightforward one. First, we start with looking for addition or subtraction, and we see addition by 5. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, resulting in 1/9 of n equals 3. Now I see a coefficient of 1/9 that's being multiplied by n. Since we're multiplying by a fraction, the opposite would be to multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of 1/9 is just 9 over 1, or 9. Multiplying by 9, I get n equals 27. All right, let's continue. Nearing the end. Now we have a more lengthy word problem, a more realistic word problem. She paid 3/4 of the price of a new laptop and used a $10 off coupon for a total of $398. What was the original price? All right, so she paid 3/4 of the price. That word of implies that we're multiplying 3/4 by the price. So let's write 3/4 of P, P for price, and used a $10 off coupon. So since she used a $10 off coupon, she's decreasing the cost again by $10 and spent a total of $398. All right, so again, using our order of operations backwards, we look for a constant that's being added or subtracted. That constant is 10 and it's being subtracted. So we're going to add 10 to both sides, resulting in 3/4 of P equals 408. Now we look for multiplication or division. In this case, we have a coefficient of 3/4. Since that's being multiplied, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So to get rid of the coefficient of 3/4, we're going to multiply by 4/3, resulting in a price that's going to be a little bit harder to figure out. So if you have a calculator handy, you can pull up that calculator and you would do 408. Remember to divide by the denominator, which is 3, and then multiply by the numerator, which is 4, equals $544. So the original price of the laptop was $544. Okay, you're now going to try all the ones that are left over on your own. I'll be around to help you out, give you some support. Feel free to chat with a neighbor to make sure you're getting it as well, but stay focused and get the work done. When you are complete and I've checked it all, you can do the exit ticket and then start with tonight's homework.